fighting training. If you've ever wanted to learn how to fight like Jason Bourne, this is the style, this is the martial art that you see in all those movies. Movies like Taken, it's the same kind of thing. Liam Neeson fighting to defend the honor, the dignity, the life of his child, all comes from this style of stick fighting. You're gonna learn how to stick fight. In this video, you need one or two. If you have two, that's great. We're gonna do some double stick training. We're gonna do some single stick training. Start with a stick in each hand and you're gonna bring it up and drop. There's a new Disney movie coming out very soon called Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya or Raya, I always get that wrong. But it's a really good movie. It looks like it. It's good to see you. It looks like a really good movie. It's about a girl, a young woman who has to save the last dragon, find the last dragon, who I think is another person, somebody who can fight martial arts really well. And her weapon of choice, the weapon that she uses, is the weapon you're gonna train right now, is two sticks, Kali sticks, also known as Eskrima sticks. They're just a stick. And the reason I like stick fighting so much, the reason I want you to learn how to stick fight, is that you can find sticks everywhere you go. Sticks are everywhere. They might not be metal, they might not be as long, they could be longer, they can be a little bit shorter, but they're very effective in self-defense. Even self-defense against the knife, self-defense against multiple attackers, self-defense against a stronger opponent. For street fight self-defense, you can't go wrong because, like I said, sticks are anywhere. This could be the target. This could be your opponent. This could be the threat, somebody who's trying to hurt you. You have jabbing, you have slashing, straight on the top, bring it in this way, up through here, using the back end. And then, of course, my favorite, which we're going to do today, is the Sinawali. Good morning, T. It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody else. But you're going to warm up your shoulders first. Get that blood flowing. It's going to bring your heart rate up a little bit. You're also going to get fighting fit from these workouts. Grab your stick in the middle. And you've seen me do this if you train with me on the staff, the bow staff, or the Joe. You see this going back and forth. I haven't seen that moving. But here, I want you to move it a lot faster. The sticks are much more light. They're not as long as those longer martial arts sticks. The bow staff or the bow, the Joe, Korean jangbong, Chinese gun, or cudgel. So you need to get more speed. You're gonna do it to the front. I like to do all of mine, all three ranges of motion, to the side, and then just up over your head. You squat a little bit. That's all it is. If you start hitting yourself in the head, you extend your arm. You can do each hand separately, or you can do them at the same time if you have the two sticks. And remember, if you don't have two sticks, use what you have. A great option, the way I started, is I took one of my old bow staff, which was really a broomstick that I cut the broom off of, and I cut that in half. And I'll take a look at that movie. And I cut it in half. I have my two Kali sticks, Eskrima sticks or any sticks, whatever it is that you want to call them. Good morning, Idris. It's good to see you. I'm going to move you back a little bit more because I want to talk about the warm-up just a little bit more. This twisting motion, we need to get blood to flow into the joint, lubricate the joint, stay safe from injury. It's also going to start to build power in your grip. To the front, to the side, up over the head. Trying to get the right angle. I think I need a better lens. Up over the head. You get the general idea. Then we're going to go to a twisting motion. I want to get flexibility in my wrists. Notice that my elbows are bent and they're closer to my body. Bend your elbows, bring them close. Watch this. About as long as your finger to your shoulder. A lot of them come like 28 inches. Some they'll say like kid sizes. They might be 22 or 24 inches, 26, 30 inches. 30. I said 36 one time. That's definitely too long. That's more like a hanbo, the Japanese short, kind of like a walking stick. But don't use what you've got. If you're going to cut down a piece of wood, you go to the store and you buy a nice sized dowel rod, or you can even buy smaller dowel rods. Get a couple of dowel rods. They're not going to be as strong as rattan. I put a link below if you want to look and see what Kali or Eskrima sticks cost, along with shipping. They're not very expensive. It's a good way to start. These are kind of special. These are metal. They've got a bite right here, and then it allows you to hit with extreme force, speed, power, and it's got a little, that's gonna rip and tear for self-defense, tear some skin. So we're gonna go over that. So you're just twisting the wrist forward. You want to increase the flexibility. And again, watch my hand. Just keep it closed. You can do this. That goes way faster, but as soon as you hit something, there you go. That's fine. Paper, wrapping paper roll. That's a good way to start. A lot of those are, if it's thicker, they're more durable. It won't last forever, but why wait to start? Start with what you've got. That's the point. Close your hand and twist it. Adrisha, I did see that thing about the archery. Good luck with that. You're going around, and then you're going back, and I want you to go back to this up and down, this warm-up motion. These are also striking motions. You can end the fight very quickly for self-defense with that hard downward strike coming straight down. Adrisha, I believe you're going to make the selection. Stay focused and breathe. You're going to add that downward strike to the spinning. So you have a twirl going down and then coming back up, going down and up, 2, and from the side, it's just to go up on my toes. I need a cameraman. You live in sunny South Florida. If you live here in West Palm Beach or Palm Beach County, you want to be my cameraman, do some of these training videos with me, I'd love to see you. So you're going up, going down, up, and down. Just while we do these live streams, when I do the taped versions and I have time to edit, which I don't have time right now, then I can usually set up a couple different camera angles and show you that. Now, from here, I want you to do that same thing, but bring it out and bring it back. Out instead of down. Bring it out to the front of your body and back. I want to slow that way down. I'm going to hit the slow-mo. It just drops to the outside of my body, comes around the back of my head, and I extend. Notice that there's still an angle. That's because you want to fight behind your stick, especially if that person has a knife, if the threat has a knife, you want that distance. You can poke them straight in the face. A poke or a thrust is a valid technique when learning how to fight with sticks. Fighting with sticks should always include or start with the most basic techniques first so that you can stay safe from a violent assault. If you're learning martial arts weapons, if you're learning Kali sticks, Eskrima, Arnis, or how to fight with a stick, you want to be able to immediately defend yourself or look around and pick them up. And maybe it's one of those things where you are supplementing another weapon or another technique, another style of martial arts training, open hand. Maybe you're doing karate, jiu-jitsu, Krav Maga. I talked to Krav Maga, somebody this morning. He said, Krav Maga, that's the most effective self-defense there's. I said, well, where do you study the Krav Maga? Oh, I've never studied. I just read about it. And I said, okay, so you read that it was the most effective. Where did you read that? Well, I went to a website of a Krav Maga school. And I said, well, yeah. I didn't say it wasn't. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I don't know. I did say I was a Marine and in the Army, National Guard. And the National Guard was in the Army, though. And we did a lot of things. And I've done a lot of Krav Maga training, different workshops, especially when it first came on the scene. I'm very familiar with it. And I'm going to say that there's no such thing as the most effective style of self-defense. It's all about principles. And I really like Tim Larkin's idea of target acquisition or target selection. Thinking about, and that's what we're going to talk about that with the sticks, because this is about how to fight with a stick, stick fighting techniques, using sticks for practical self-defense. What targets will you remove or destroy? All right, we're going to put one stick down. It's going to be that one. I'm going to lower it just a little bit, and I want you to practice a single stick drill now that you're super warmed up. Put one foot forward, whichever has the stick in that hand, that foot's forward. This is my right hand, right foot forward. And I'm going to get into a good guarding position. This is because when you start to use your stick, you always want to guard your head. You're never going to let your arm just dangle there, right? You're going to get it actively employed in self-defense. From here, I want you to practice a slicing motion, and I want you to think of targets. Think of temple, and you're gonna go through the temple, through the face, out the other side, and you're gonna strike through the temple. Then you're gonna come up and you're gonna complete an X by coming down in the other direction. And again, I want you to think of temple. So from here, strike the temple, strike the temple. And you can change how high that is by thinking strike the neck. Strike the neck, strike the shoulders, strike the ribs, strike the knee. And it's just that simple angular X. That's your first striking technique when learning how to fight with sticks. Stick fighting training is super simple when you start with the basics. Always start with the basics. Number one, with a single stick, slicing, slicing. 1, 2. Then you're going to take the hand and turn the palm up on the bottom. You're going to bring that up, back in the direction you just came from. So you came one, you came down, turn, hand still up, bring it back up the other way. And I want you to think of another target. Think of ribs, think of chest, think of neck, think of, in this case, the jaw, right? Think of their ear. So from here, you're coming up, and then it's going to drop to the other hip, hand still up, and pull it up in the other direction. If you had a bag to train on, you would train on a bag. If you don't, just train in the air. That's just as good. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you imagine what Mr. Miyagi's, Pat Morita was the actor who played Mr. Miyagi. But what Mr. Miyagi was a book, by the way. The Karate Kid came from an author who wrote a lot of books and a lot of movies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you imagine what he'd say, though, if he had YouTube? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have one in each hand now, and we have those first 4 angular strikes. And I want you to think of temple, temple, ribs, ribs, or whatever target you can think of. But I want you to start thinking when it comes to practical self-defense in terms of targets and not necessarily technique. Technique is an angular strike. Angle 1, angle 2 is very common in a lot of Filipino martial arts. But think in terms of eyes, right? Or neck. Or maybe it's their hand reaching out. There's the punch. I was thinking they had a knife. They have a knife. They're going to punch. Wrist, wrist, right? And then wrist on the other side. But think in those terms, and then bringing it up, and then switch your feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you don't have 2 sticks, do 1 stick, 3, 4, and then switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See what I just did there? We're going to break it down. And if you do the nunchucks, you've done this a million times, right? This is that Bruce Lee nunchuck move, going from hand to hand. And am I saying you're going to do this in self-defense when you need to get the stick from one hand to the other? Maybe. Why not? From here to here. I'm going to work on my, I'm a little tight this morning, but get my flexibility going. From here to here, back, back. Just reach out, grab it, back, back. Yeah, I love Mr. Miyagi. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it back, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And like every other style of martial arts that you train for self-defense, once you get warmed up, you should be moving full speed, full power, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that you can put your body under that stress of the movement, the exercise. And by that, I mean, get stress on your wrists, get stress on your hands. So when you fight for self-defense for real, it's not the first time you've experienced that and you're ready for it. You're going to successfully win the fight. Now, we're going to come back to single striking techniques, but I want to go back to double hands, 2 hands, talk about Sinawali, or the weaving pattern. And then the Sinawali, you've seen it on the bag a lot of times, or maybe the banana bag, and they'll start to go down, down, then even more elaborate. And everybody says, hey, I want to learn that. So I want to show you that real quick. Start with one on each shoulder. You're going to cross the body, and you have that X. Start one on each shoulder, 1, 2. I always like to go back to the beginning. It's like a map. You get lost on your way somewhere, but you look up and you see a street sign. You can look at the map and find the name of the street. You know where you are, right? So if you think about the first position and you know this street is cross, you can get back to cross. From here, you might not be able to go to the next move, but you can go back to the beginning. You're going to cross. In this case, my left hand is on top of the right. 1, 2. Then practice it the other way. 1, 2. Bring it back. One hand, the other hand. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's simple. That's how I want you to start your Sinawali. A lot of times you'll see we're trying to break it down, get you there faster, but learn step by step by step. There are only like 3 steps. It won't take you that long, but what happens in my head, what happens in your head is when you're learning something new, we often think to the end, we get a picture in our head, and this is what we see, but you don't know how, you can't get there yet. So first, learn how to do this, and then I'll get you to the end. Make this a mental picture. Now my bottom hand is going to strike and pull back, and the top hand is going to strike and pull back. So watch again. My bottom arm, you just have to know which arm's on top. My right arm's back, my left arm's back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottom hand, the reason it's bottom is because it went first. And I'm going to do left, right, or right, left. It's a circle, right? So if I go right, left, I have to go right, left. But then I'm going to put the other hand on top, and I start to bring in the other one. Mr. Miyagi is way more funny than I am, by the way. So from here, I saw your comment. I appreciate that. But he was more sweet. I think he was sweet and funny. I don't know that I'm that sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I eat enough sweets, I should be sweet, but 2, 3, 4. I don't think it works out that way. 2, 3, 4. So this is a basic level of Sinawali or weaving. And the idea of weaving just like this, right? So if you start here, this is my right hand. I'm going to go right, left on top. Right comes back, left comes back. Then I'm going to go left, right. Bring it back. Right, left, left. Left, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Learn that first. And again, if you do have a bag, start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you think about what that is, that's with your single stick. That's angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1, angle 2. Angle 1, angle 1. Angle 2, angle 2. So now you know how to do the basic Sinawali. You might need to slow it down. Watch this a couple times. Put me in slow-mo. Turn the volume off so that part's not so annoying, right? Turn the volume off. Super slow-mo. Learn this basic technique. And thank you, Sensei Emmett. I appreciate that comment. All right, but I want to go back to single stick and show you this horizontal strike. And right from the start, I want you to know you can do it to the head, you can do it to the body, you can do it to the waist, you can do it to the thighs. By the way, you hit that sciatic nerve with this heavy metal hard stick, collie stick, eskrima stick, arnese stick, fighting stick. I like to call them fighting sticks, by the way. Just bring that fighting stick through, smash that leg, or you go to the knees, or you can go even lower. But they're all simply horizontal, the horizon, right? Sun comes up in the morning, coming through. 1, 2. Then you have downward strikes, vertical strikes. You also have upward strikes. You can come up under the chin. They're reaching. You can smash up. And I know you've seen these similarities. A lot of you are thinking, that looks a lot like nunchucks, nunchaku. That looks like Bruce Lee, mighty guy, doing the nunchaku. That's all he's doing. It's, well, they're very similar. One's a stick without a break. The other's a stick with a break in the middle, and it's tied together with the string or the chain. That's the only difference. So yes, that's not the only difference, but that's the major difference. And there will be a lot of similarities. The lengths, that's hard to say. The lengths are about the same. Now, I don't want you to just practice this by itself, that other hand up. I want you to bring it across the body, and from here, go straight down. Bring it back up to here. That way, yeah, I love it. Tomato steaks, I don't even know where you buy those anymore. Come across, now everything seems to be plastic. Come across the old horizontal. Some of you are old, like Terry, no offense, T. T and I are kind of old, but, and you guys remember, good to see you, Albert, those tomato steaks that we grew up with, those were the best. Those are the best nunchucks we all made. I'll say we all made them. I made them. You make those, you sand them down really well, you drill the hole, you loop your string through 3 times, make the knot, you have your homemade nunchucks. I mean, and the steaks come out of the garden. I don't even know, we never paid for them back then. And the twine was always in the garage. So we come through here, down, bring it back here. See how my hand just turns? And there's another vertical strike. So vertical strike after the horizontal strike, bring it back through 1, 2, 1, 2. I like to think of this as an H because my son's name starts with an H. So I think of H, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. And of course you do it in both hands equally. Get that hand up, comes across, the palm is facing the sky. When it comes to the shoulder, turn, goes down and back up, and then you bring it across the other way. When it's at the side, the palm turns up, striking down, bring it back through, down, through, down. So you're coming 1, strike down, 2, strike down, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you can put those angle strikes together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 vertical, and then just bring it down the middle for that vertical strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's right, 5, 6, boom. Now see how I bring this through the middle? I always want to fight from behind the stick. When you're learning how to fight with sticks, stick fighting techniques, you always have to think about basic principles, basic techniques, what works, what's effective, what's practical. Slicing strikes are practical when you think in terms of targets. Eyes, hand, right? Ribs, knees, legs, operating system. They might have a knife. You don't know if they do or not, or it comes out. You can get that shut off, that brain knocked out, unconscious, as soon as possible. You don't want to give them the distance. Close the gap. They can get in and do this, right? Well, that's why I do this. Here's I love this YouTube channel because the reality is when I was young, as a kid, I started in judo. Then I went into like at 9 years old, taekwondo when I was a teenager, and did that for years. And I was blessed. The second taekwondo school that I went into right before I went in the Marine Corps, that instructor his knowledge was so broad and so deep. He was a Korean instructor, grew up in he was from North Korea, grew up in the refugee camps. Just had a network of martial artists, all at the highest level. Hapkido, Judo, which is judo, what Koreans call judo, but compete in the Olympics judo, like judo champions, Olympic champions, taekwondo champions. This guy did Olympic coaching, grew up with Olympic champions, but they also did Shipoge, which the Korean word, the Shaolin Kung Fu. So a lot of Kung Fu in what we did, a lot of different weapons, and then the Kendo guys. The Kendo was the bamboo sword they call the shinai. Koreans call it a chukdo. And, the traditional, like wear all the gear, go to the Olympics. Well, maybe not the Olympics, but go highest level Kendo fighting with a bamboo sword. And then Yaido, drawing the sword. All styles of martial arts. And then all of the healing arts from Asia. The acupuncture. I grew up with needles in my hands, both sides. Anytime you roll your ankle, they're sticking a needle in there, squeezing the blood out, and it goes down. But this is how I grew up. And then I always wanted to share all these things because I would talk to other people You might be twisting. If your hand's getting numb, you might need to slow it down a little bit. A good way the nerves that are in the arm, a good way to floss the nerve or to loosen it up. But I started doing, bring it chest high, bring the elbow out and push it back. Well, that one just locked. That's the one that I used to bend the nails with, that I was injured going too far. Pull it back, forward, rolling up frying pans. I used to love all those strongman stuff. You bring it here, push it back. But the point is, you can't always get, they might be a little bit longer, but do what you can with them, right? And then you start now, and once you get a shorter pair, or cut them down or whatever, and then you'll be able to do everything that I'm doing, and then adjust. But don't wait to start. All right, so I want you to go back to this motion. My point is about learning martial arts whatever your martial arts school is. Maybe you're in jiu-jitsu. There's no weapon in jiu-jitsu, not Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Taekwondo doesn't technically have any weapons either. Not technically, Taekwondo has no weapons. But a lot of Korean Taekwondo instructors also, because they grew up in Shotokan or Isshinryu, if they're older, they also know how to use different weapons. Now they call it Gumdo. And they say the Korean original sword art. Well, some of it is original. Or, anyway, I'm not getting into all the politics. But the point is, who's to say you can't learn other things? You're a human being. You have rights. If your instructor can't teach it or doesn't teach it or doesn't want to teach it, this is just as good. Or maybe like a lot of you, you're in a place where there are no martial arts schools either open because of COVID or they simply don't have them because you live in a rural area or you live in an area where you only have to have a lot of money to be able to do it. And you should be able to do anything you want to do, especially the internet. YouTube is for all of us. Well, YouTube's not for all of us, but this ability to communicate through the internet, get all the companies out of it. That's for everybody. You're right to learn a language. I work on Spanish every morning now for at least half an hour, sometimes an hour. Yeah, it's around. All right, but I want you to split it. I want you to do one hand and then the other hand. These are just drills to get you fighting with your sticks a little bit more smoothly and fighting behind your sticks, because you should always fight from here, right? You should be able to fight in this position. So from here, you bring it out, roll it in, roll it out, roll it in, and then separate. Do one hand at a time. What I like to do is 30 seconds like this, 30 more seconds, one hand at a time. And then that prepares me for starting with one out, alternating at the same time. So they're coming out and in. And this one maybe will come to you right away or it won't come to you right away. But don't fret, you'll get it. Just don't give up. Keep moving in the direction you want to go and you'll get there. Just never say, I can't do it. Say, I can't do it yet. That word yet is powerful. Can't afford it yet. Don't have enough time yet. Haven't made the time yet. Right? I don't understand it yet. But you will. That's the beauty of the universe, the nature, the power of the universe, is that there's no limit. Make sure you're not putting the limit on yourself. You don't know, I don't know. Go for it. See how much you can get done. All right, let's go back to Sinawali. Instead of one on each shoulder, I want you to now take the right one on the shoulder and take the left one across the body and put the left one on the ribs on the right side, so that you have one on each side. They're kind of parallel, but don't worry about it too much. Now, don't get the chicken wing out, okay? Keep the chicken wing down. Keep your elbow down. And the reason I don't want this out is because this will lead you to bring it in like this. All anybody has to do is instinctive. If they cover like this and you're swinging out like this, they just run in and they stop that arm. You don't have no leverage. They'll stop that arm. Your stick might bounce off the back of them just a little bit. But if you're here, you come in straight, right? That's hard to block. That's hard. They know what they're doing. But this, they have to know what they're doing. This, it's going to be an instinctive move. This is so easy to defend. So make sure when you fight, you keep them tight. You're gonna bring it forward and bring it back. Start over, 1, 2. Start over, I always start over at least 3 times. And then I wanna show you that this is a V. This is one half of the V, there's the other half of the V. So bring it over and back. Then the second hand is going to do that second angle. So this is that first angle, there's the second angle. So I do the first angle on one, and then the second angle, and I bring it back. And then on the first hand, I do the second angle. And then I bring it back under. So I go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 on each side. My chicken wing's getting up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Watching yourself on the camera like I do every single day with these workouts, when we work out together, forces me to clean it up because I don't see everything and I don't focus 100% of the time the way I should, even if I say I do or I tell other people to. Here's the rule of life. You're not ever going to reach perfection. I'm never going to reach perfection. Don't try for perfection. Just try to improve. Look for ways that you can improve. Look for areas of improvement. But don't hold yourself to such a high standard that one little mistake, which you're going to make over and over and over again, breaks your whole persona, breaks your whole vision of yourself. Oh, I thought I was perfect. Why? Have you met anybody in your whole life who's never made a mistake? No. And if they say they haven't, they're a liar, right? Run. Stay away from people like that. People who try to hold themselves to the perfection standard. That's a miserable life to live. They're going to fall short again and again and again. Everyone will disappoint them because they'll always be looking outside of themselves to find that perfection in somebody else. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Don't go for perfection. Go for self-improvement. Go for gradual, incremental change. Make yourself better little by little. All right, let me get off that soapbox. 1, 2, 3, and I'm under. 1, 2, 3, and I'm over to the other side. This is what it looks like from the side. And then from the other side, it's the same exact thing. And I want you to do it if you can. If you have something, you can use a stack of tires, by the way. That's very traditional over in the Philippines. Use a stack of tires or Malaysia, Singapore. I don't know. I hear Singapore is so clean. I don't know if they have a stack of tires anywhere. But a Muay Thai bag or a banana bag is perfect because it's thin and it's long. So when you get into the higher levels and you start going to the legs, or you do it all down there, you can work the body, work the legs, work the midsection, and it all works. But once you get that, put that on something. If you have nothing to use, thank you, T. If you have nothing to use to train with, start to move your body like this. This is one of my favorite things to do because it really gets your heart rate up and it helps your footwork. Is you start facing the front. And then when your right hand comes forward on that first motion, bring the right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot, left foot. After you get comfortable stepping, start turning, continue to step, and then start to go lower, go higher, turning, go lower, go higher, and keep it tight. Like I said, if you have a camera phone, watch yourself in the camera. If not, use a mirror, but go high, go low, turning right, turning left, and ideally, in an ideal world, hello, fifth. What would we say was Federic? Fed. In a perfect world, you've got a partner. You have a stick, they've got a stick, and you can work on those stick drills. This is the Jason Bourne stuff. If you want to learn how to fight like Jason Bourne, learn first how to fight with these sticks, and then you see him in one of the movies, he rolls up a magazine, the other guy's got a knife, he's fighting him with the magazine, because the sticks are everywhere. In that new movie, Raya and the Last Dragon, she's got him on her back, or Daredevil's got him on his back too, right? There are a lot of superheroes. They fight with sticks, because sticks are practical, sticks are simple, sticks are everywhere. Federico, so Fed, it's good to see you. All right, so from here, back to the single stick, and then I've got to move it. I wanted to show you this though. When you hold your collie stick or your screaming stick martial arts stick, bring it up. Hello, Kyle. It's nice to see you. Everything's good here. Give yourself some room here. This is the hook to pull, take the weapon out of their hand, to strip, but it's also to strike. And these strikes are super effective, super basic. You can strike here, but let's say you have less room. Now you're coming straight in, right? Eyes, nose, teeth. This hard thing is taking everything, throat, right? Right there into the solar plexus, into the groin. And you can do double strikes. You can strike, that moves them back, and then follow through. One, follow through. You hit him in the throat. Follow through with that next strike. Come down on top. Starting with basic techniques first. So grab one stick, two sticks if you have them. Watch this video again and again. I appreciate everybody's comments in the chat. I really want to grow this channel. I need your help. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so already. And please consider sharing and growing this video so the number of people come and look at it. You can share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter. And it's not for kids. It's for us adults, right? It's stick fighting. Kids shouldn't be learning stick fighting. This is for us adults. But share it on all the social media. Reddit is a really good place, in Quora. And I'm going to get a lot of haters, especially the traditional FMA guys, the Filipino martial arts guys. I get it. Love your hate. Love to hate me. That's great. I'm sure you have a legitimate reason. Not maybe to dislike what I'm doing, but get rid of the hate, man. His life's too short to hold on to hate. Anyway, but please share these things. Send me a message. Go to pasquinelli.com. Send me a message in that thing so I can get you on the mailing list. And I want to start. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to start I'm going to have a members only section here on YouTube. You keep asking me for it. I've created several levels of membership. I have to do a video to announce it. It's going to be real basic, and then we're going to grow it after that. It's going to give some people access to me. I do a lot of one-on-one training through a Facebook portal device, or I do it through the phone, or I do it on the computer like a Zoom call, and you're going to have access to all those things. Depending on the level, it's either going to be free or a discounted amount, and then the merchandise. I'm starting to get more stuff like this. And you keep asking me, and it's a great idea. I know you're all trying to help me grow this channel, help me, because the COVID it makes everything harder than it was, harder than it should be. So, and I appreciate your help. I'm extremely grateful. And all these things, membership stuff, that takes a lot of extra work on my part. But when you come up with a great idea and I just think, hey, let me try it, I'm going to go for it. So we're going to do that. Look for that in the next day or two. And I will see you guys in just a little bit.